Thanks for joining us today at Unstuck Your Business podcast.
You went into business with a passion to explore your skills and talents and show the world what you can do to contribute into our society and into our economic ecosystem. But a couple of years into the business, and your drive and motivation has dwindled, and now you feel stuck.
When you find yourself at this crossroad of thoughts and emotions, how do you deal with it? In this podcast, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship to help you unstuck your business. We are your hosts, Inez Nazario Vega from Business Essentials Virtual Assistant.
And Edith Duran from Reason Marketing. Welcome back to Unstuck Your Business. Today's episode is a special one because we're talking about something that's been building over the last over 100 conversations we've had with business owners. We've had the privilege of hearing so many different stories, different industries, different stages of business, but there's one thing that keeps showing up. People just feel stuck.
And not just stuck in a big dramatic way. Sometimes it's like very subtle. Like you're doing all the right things, but something just isn't clicking. So today we want to talk about why that happens and introduce the framework we created based on everything we've learned, the Unstuck framework. This isn't about doing more. It's about getting clear. So Edith, let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. Just a little behind the scenes for our audience. Inez and I have a weekly check-in. Sometimes it's even more than once a week.
Yes.
And we check in at minimum once a week just to see where we're at. We're with our podcast, but more than anything, it's like our
Accountability session.
BBF, time where business best friends, and where we just talk about everything.
Mhm.
And so many times just the slightest thing um can come up in this conversation of being stuck. So we know
Mhm.
this feeling so well. That's why we created our platform here, Unstuck Your Business podcast, because what does feeling stuck actually look like in real life? What would you say, Inez?
It can take so many forms and shapes. There are business owners, entrepreneurs, they feel stuck because whether it be that they don't have enough knowledge about something.
Mm-hmm.
Example, we have talked about this in other episodes. I'm not the biggest person in numbers.
Mm,
And sometimes a entrepreneur that doesn't know how to read the numbers may get overwhelmed about it. And that constrains them and makes them feel stuck.
mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I need to talk about cash flow. I need to talk about, you know, whatever financial report. And because it's over their head at that time, not because they're not smart, it's just that they have not learned that skill.
Mm-hmm.
It can help them and make them feel stuck.
Right.
Um, I,
um
I think another area in where people feel stuck is when they're just doing, and they don't see the progress. They don't
mm-hmm.
see the numbers changing. They don't see the profits. And that goes back to the very basics, very,
Mm-hmm.
very basics, which is, did you create an actual business plan for your business?
Right. Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how many business owners, entrepreneurs that just threw themselves in the water without an actual map on how they're going
Mm-hmm.
to run their business, without that business plan. And when they are in the middle of the road without that map, without that GPS, guess what? They get stuck.
Exactly. I mean, it's so easy to get stuck even with your roadmap, but without that roadmap, it's you're really flying blindly, and the only thing that's really pushing you is either that fight to survive, that's, that flame that you have behind you, or it's, that you are truly passionate about what you're doing, and you can't see yourself doing anything else. But no matter what the seed of that motivation is, you will get to burnout if you don't have a plan, if you don't have at least a way or a formula to get you out of feeling that stuckness.
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely. If you don't have that strategy to how to get unstuck,
Hmm.
you can definitely not only burn out, you can burn out everything because your business is your livelihood.
Yeah.
And for many people, it is their only livelihood. And if you're not able to unstuck that business, you go. I mean, it's a lot of things that will impact it. Was your finances, your family, and everything that comes along with it. So it's important that we learn how to unstuck our business and
So
ourselves, for that matter.
well, yeah. So let's get into that. We're bringing this episode to our audience because now we've had over 100 conversations
Mhm.
about being stuck in all kinds of different areas of either business or personal life. But regardless of the situation around that feeling of being stuck, what patterns can you say that we've noticed in this? What comes to
Mm.
mind first?
Well, I did mention two of them, which is the lack of a business plan or the lack of a
Mm-hmm.
knowledge on certain areas that are important to the business. But I think, every business has its stages, right? You start and
Right.
perhaps you're a solopreneur in the beginning, then you have to delegate certain tasks because the business is growing. And along with that business growth, it goes into the cycle of you're going to expand more beyond what you probably thought that business was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't thought about documenting processes,
Yeah.
documenting your strategy, or even just having that mastermind group to help you get over the hump.
Right. Right. And I guess
And
for me, the one that stands out more than anything, I mean, it could be, I guess you would say, the umbrella of the
mhm,
patterns is mindset. It's your mindset, where that self-doubt is taking over, or the emotion behind it. Like if you your first client is now letting you go and you're feeling all these negative feelings about that, but when in actuality perhaps you've outgrown that client, and there's different ways to look at it. So it's the mindset that I see is such a big pattern in any part of the business that you might be feeling stuck, either personal, business, legal, financial, growing, and scaling. The mindset shift that you really need to take place to get over the hump, like you're
mhm,
saying, I think
mhm.
is the foremost thing that I would suggest to people to pay attention to.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
what
yeah.
would you say?
I would call it like when you get emotionally attached to your stuckness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you sometimes you don't see the way out because you're too close to the problem.
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes you need to get out and just identify what it is. What is my fear? What is my
Mm-hmm.
fear? Why am I having a fear about XYZ that is keeping me stuck? Why am I fearful about making that phone call to with that big potential client?
Right.
What is my just because you lost a big client in the past, then you start feeling incompetent about certain things, and it has nothing to do with you. Don't
Yes.
take it personal. Just because we're human beings, we have this thing by nature that if we fail one time, it's going to happen again and again, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
true.
Right.
So we need to come face to face with what's reality and what's in your head.
Yes. Yes. And that first step in itself of what's reality and what's in your head, I think can give you, that big piece of clarity that you need
Mhm.
to take the next big step, because chances are you're going to make a mistake, And chances are you're going to make another mistake. You know?
Exactly, exactly,
um,
exactly.
but once you've got the clarity, like we were talking about a minute ago, like with your business model, with your roadmap, with your, messaging, because it, it, it is easy to like blame the marketing or the sales or the operations or, not enough time. But when in actuality, it's the clarity that is too fuzzy for even the business owner to make out, okay, what are we really trying to accomplish here? Um, that really muddies up not only for the business owner but for everything else you're trying to do, the what you're trying to get customers to see, your team to do. And clarity can really simplify things in such a huge way.
It's interesting you bring that point because, when I'm talking to prospective clients and other people in the business world, and we talk about this problems that we may be having in our business,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to focus on, oh, it has to do with the sales, or it has to do with the way the economy is going, or it has
Mm-hmm.
to do with, the people don't need my products like they used to. And in reality, everything underneath, if you pull the rug, it's about clarity. Okay, so maybe you're just not targeting the right market. It's not the
Uh-huh.
market, it's that you're
Uh-huh.
not targeting the right market.
Right. Right.
It's not the economy because people still make money in the worst of the economies.
Mm-hmm.
It's how are you strategizing to get the clients that go beyond the economy to be that paying client to make you
Mm.
profit.
Right.
That clarity is that sitting down and saying, okay, I'm trying to make everybody my client. And in reality, I just need to focus on 1 to 5 clients, prospective clients that are like super targeted, that are really, really aligned with what I do and how can I
Mm-hmm.
help. I would just say,
I think that really simplifies it in a way to where it's digestible. Who am I really serving? Because, as you know, so many of the times people get wrapped up in like the great features that they offer, the service, the experience, the awards that they've received, and they start to overlook what their customer really needs, or even really getting to know their customer in a way that says, I know exactly where I can find my customer. I know exactly where my type of customer gets their information, and I
mhm,
know exactly where my customer gets stuck and how I can help them. Those conversations are the ones that really make the impact. um and we're all human, so it's not like we're born with that knowledge. it
mhm,
takes you know it takes some real effort and practice to do that, but more than anything, it takes listening.
mhm,
Listen to the conversations that you're trying to be a part of, and
mhm.
listen to those needs and the where your customers are seeing a gap, and where it is that you can really fill that in.
Yes, yes. And that being said, Edith, I want to do a parenthesis here. That's why we came up with the framework,
Mm-hmm.
the unstuck framework, because we're talking here, and this can be like super overwhelming for somebody listening to, how do I get unstuck with my business? And in the framework, we break it down.
Yes.
We break it down in what I call eatable sizes,
Mm-hmm. No, we actually do. We keep it super simple, and you'd be surprised how well this framework works for our clients. I've already been using it myself, where, once you have your clarity, then you can really create a great strategy. And then once you have your strategy, the next result is growth. That's what you're really trying to get to. That's where you're spending so much of your time and effort and money, is trying to grow your sales, your business, your team. But growth is where you're trying to get to. But without clarity and without your strategy, growth is going to be further and further away. The finish line is going to feel like it keeps moving away from you.
Yeah, the what you went into the business with a dream, it can turn into a nightmare if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly how to manage those phases in your business and how to get unstuck from the different things that businesses and owners go through.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're in the marketing world, so I have to ask you this question. How does lack of clarity shows up in people's marketing?
Uh, well, how much I love questions like this. This is, this could be a whole series of conversations. But to keep it simple, the first thing that you may pick up on when there's a lack of clarity is inconsistent content.
Mm,
Sometimes you're gonna see content with, uh, you know, someone rambling about what they saw on their walk to work, which
mm,
is might be interesting content, but it's going to lack a call to action because it's you're not sure what, as a consumer, you're not sure what you're supposed to do with the content that they're putting out, and then maybe another post is about something else totally unrelated. So you're putting in all this effort to creating content, but there's no continuity within everything. So people taking in your content don't know what you really want them to do with it. So the lack of clarity shows up in inconsistent content for sure. And then the confusing messaging. Like I see this quite a bit, especially with businesses that are afraid to niche down and they want to serve
mhm.
everybody.
Yes.
And I remember working with a physical therapist that when we had our discovery call, she lit up when she was talking about working with cancer patients and
Mhm,
doing the deep tissue lymphatic massages. She said she had a background with working with her grandmother that had cancer and her mother that had cancer, so it really meant a lot to her. And so it was natural to me to suggest to her, well, maybe niche down. Let's make you the expert, the specialist in lymphatic massages for cancer patient. And that was like, oh no, we can't do that because I also like working with, couples massages, and I also like working with, just physical therapy patients, and I also like, so she had all of these other um, type of patients and ability to serve other customers, but the one that really lit up her face and she got super excited about was one type. And so then when you see her flyer about the physical therapy that she can offer, it lists 12 different types of services, and then when you see that as a potential customer, it's like, I don't know if any of these are right for me.
mhm,
Whereas if you really drill down and say, if she would say, I work with um, cancer patients that need deep tissue lymphatic massages, then immediately, if you're not that customer or that patient for her, somebody that is, and you'll pass that along,
absolutely.
where,
The
yes.
referral-based business, which
And
is very, very profitable.
right. And that's the difference between clear messaging and confusing messaging. It's
Mhm,
lower conversion versus higher conversion, and people
mhm,
trying a little bit of everything versus people specializing. It
mhm,
makes such a huge difference. Clarity really is the foundation to
mhm.
success within your marketing. Hi, I'm Edith, owner of Riza Marketing, a boutique marketing agency in Orlando, Florida, where we have a small but mighty team dedicated to helping service businesses dominate in the Central Florida market. We begin by helping you discover your own secret sauce. That one special something only you offer and your ideal clients love you for it.
When you take pride in the service you offer and the experience you provide, but feel your marketing message isn't resonating with the right audience, we can help. When you're at a loss for creating advertising that evokes emotion and prompts action, we can help. Or if releasing viewer worthy content with consistency is an ongoing challenge, we can help. Riza Marketing helps you define your unique flair and deliver creative content on a dependable schedule. Online marketing is easy when you have a team of pros by your side. If you're ready to make marketing fun again, then visit our website, rizamarketing.com. That's RIZA marketing.com, and schedule your free discovery call today.
It's funny you said that because just like last week specifically, somebody approached me and it was one of those jack of all trades kind of entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had they could do insurance, they could do publicity, they could do this, they could do that, they could do this. And I'm looking at this person, I'm like, if you know somebody that can use my services, and I was very bold and I told him I really had a hard time understanding exactly what is it that you
Mm.
do refer
Yeah.
business
Uh-huh.
because you tell me that do some insurance, that you do some publicity, that you do
Mm-hmm.
some, that almost like a jack of all trades. I wouldn't even know how to refer your business.
Right. Yeah.
And
And yes.
this person looked at me like I had three heads or like I didn't want to help. But the fact was that I actually had a hard time understanding what his business was and how can I refer business to him.
Mm-hmm. And
I,
uh, and that's for good reason because it
mhm.
wasn't very clear.
Exactly, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to offer more for your clients, but stick to one or two messaging, no more than.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then when you get that client in the door, you can always upsell or cross-sell,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes.
But your actual messaging to the market, I feel that you have to niche down so you can get the people through the door.
Right. And I think it should also put the caveat out there. It's your messaging that needs to niche down. If you serve multiple industries, that's okay. Just niche down in your messaging. Like, you can have a campaign that's for, in the example of the insurance agent, for growing families, and the parents
Mhm.
need life insurance for their growing family. Or you can also have different messaging for like business insurance, if that's something else that you offer. So you're niching down not just in the people that you serve. It's not like you have to decide and that's what you're married to, or
Yeah.
till
It's
death
funny
do
because
you part.
my business is virtual assistant. That's my
Uh-huh.
messaging. That's what I'm stuck with. Okay. But that doesn't mean like I said, and I also offer web designing and what have you. But if you go to my page, I have a section that says other services. And
Mhm.
I offer a lot of other services to third parties. I have what I call an affiliate network attached to my business, but I don't promote them the way I promote my business. My business is virtual assistants.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's the messaging that's consistent. So when people look at me and they say, "Hey, I have a client for you that needs help with XYZ that you offer,"
Uh-huh.
fantastic. I get them in the door, and you'll be surprised how many clients, and you know this, and I'm going to put it out there. I've been a Legal Shield representative for 14 years now.
Uh-huh.
I'm not very aggressive with that specific business, but I do quite a bit of sales of opportunity because
Mhm.
when you're talking with someone that tells you their life story and all of a sudden they tell you about a legal issue that they have, I go and say, hey, listen, I have something that may or may not help you. It's not necessarily completely attached to virtual assistants, but take a look at it. It might help you.
Uh-huh.
It's a completely different service from virtual assistant, but I
100%.
still have a
Yes.
little bucket of things that I
Mhm.
can do to help my clients without disturbing the messages, the
Mhm.
messaging of my business.
Yes. Yeah, and that's really smart because now you're leading them to that different area of your business, and you're leading them with clarity. I know, and they're walking away with that clarity. Inez um has a virtual assistant business, but she also offers this service that I can look into myself and decide for myself. I mean, that's like a win-win on both sides. Where it gets awkward is, you know, they meet with you and they walk away like you were saying, I didn't really understand what he says he does. I don't know how to help him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be careful as to not to overwhelm the prospective clients with everything
Yeah.
that you can do. And I kind of use this word, which is not the most proper word. Don't vomit on people about all your
Oh
skills
my
and talents,
gosh. Yes, because you know what?
because
How much will be remembered from that? Zero, only that
yes,
they took up 5 minutes of my time and I don't know what they do.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, so moving along, because I know we want to keep this to 30 minutes. I know some topics are harder than others to keep at 30 minutes, and I think this one is definitely one of them. So, Edith, what would you say is us that our audience of entrepreneurs can take to feel unstuck,
Um,
or at least start the process, because that is a process to get unstuck. Trust me, it's a process.
when you're feeling stuck, it's that brings about anxiety. And when you're anxious, what are you doing? You're fidgeting, you're moving, you feel like you have to do more, move more, and really it's just the opposite. When you're feeling that stuckness in you, pause for a moment, pause
Mhm,
and really evaluate. Like we said earlier in this episode, what's reality, and what's in your mind right now. What is
mhm,
a real situation? Really break it down. So, and to do that, you want to ask yourself better questions and ask yourself those hard questions like, is this necessary? Why am I doing this? And is this necessary? And does this really move the needle for me? And by answering those, you can now see where your strategy lies. You're forming your strategy. And if answering those questions is getting a little difficult, then go way back and visit your why am I really doing this? Is it
mhm,
for me? Did I agree to something that I don't really want to do? you know
mhm,
so all of those are great direction or great questions that would give you some direction. And something else actionable is the free Unstuck Your Business framework that we put together for you. Like I
yes.
said, I have used it and I think it's phenomenal.
Yes, I like the fact that the first thing you said was pause.
Hmm.
And sometimes we overly think how to pause.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can only be like while you were talking, believe it or not, Edith, while you were talking and you said the word pause and refresh, looked at my clock and it had the 11:11. And you know what that 11:11
Oh,
means?
yes. The
And
angel hour.
and and uh I have this thing that whenever I see that number, I sit back and I put my hand in my chest. And I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh,
I put my
I'll
hand in my
I'll
chest and
definitely pay attention now.
I said in my mind, I said, I'm guided, I'm safe, I'm protected, and I'm provided for.
Hmm.
Sometimes it only takes a minute or two to do that pause and to reframe your mindset.
Hmm.
And it's not like the biggest answer to the unstuck your business, but it gives you a space to reset
Mm.
your nervous
Yes.
system. And
Yeah.
I think that's if I'm going to add an actionable item to the list of things that you mentioned, I would say put an alarm in your phone or something that makes you stop in the middle of the day and take a 1 or 2 minutes to pause
To
and reset.
pause. Yes, that is
Don't don't
huge.
don't don't make it a big thing. Don't think it a big thing. You know that the unstuck in your business can be a big thing and a big
Hmm.
deal. But take that time to balance and reset your nervous system. Because
Mm.
like you said, people get fidgety, people get anxious, people get this. So I would say that,
Overeat. That's when you overeat.
oh, you overeat, overthink
Yeah.
everything that can really mess your entire system.
Hmm.
And I would say while we're at this, that take a minute or two every so many hours to just sit and say, you know what? I'm safe. I'm
Hmm.
safe. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm guided. Go to that whatever sense that you have. If it's God, if it's the universe, whatever it is, that you're gonna get the guidance you need to get unstuck, and you're gonna get provided for.
I love it. I love the reminder to take a minute or two just for yourself, because it really is for yourself, for you. You're the one behind all this, behind the machine that is you, and it needs a little bit of silence every now and then, and every now and then during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not every now and then, every 6 months when you feel that
Mm-hmm.
point of burning out.
Yes, yes. So
you
I just
know.
wanted to throw that one out there because it just hit me that we can get very strategic, we can get very tactical, analytical, but there is that, that spiritual side that helps you get unstuck.
Hmm.
So, how would you describe our framework? What would you say? Who is it for, and how should someone use it?
Honestly, I think it's for everyone. Whether you have a business or not, it's for you. You should check it out, because you could be stuck in anything. You could be stuck asking for a raise. You could be stuck trying to get the promotion that you want. You don't have to just own a business to feel that. And the formula is the same: clarity, strategy, then growth. And of course, in our framework, we elaborate on that quite a bit more. But it helps anyone that feels like their mind could use a little bit of reset, and help getting to their next step. And then you should just use it, have it handy, use it when you need it, when you have that burning question or challenge ahead of you, and take a look, review it, and just have it handy. Um, because what the takeaway from that is leaving that chaos behind you and moving forward with confidence. Um, and even if it's a confidence that if I need a plan B, then I need a plan B, and it's okay, you know? So, yeah, I don't know if I did took my advice there, because I just tried to name everybody rather than niching down, but I truly believe that anybody can
It's
benefit
a great,
from
yeah, yeah.
from
Well,
the
I'm excited.
framework.
I'm excited about this. And again, this is a gift of love to our audience because we've been at this. June is gonna be 3 years.
Hmm.
And for those who have been with us since day one, thank you so much for being with us since day one. And this has been quite a journey. And to put this journey into this small package as a gift for our audience is it's very rewarding to
Hmm.
to me. It's very rewarding that Unstuck Your Business is not just a podcast. It's really a gift of love to our entrepreneur community.
Yes, it is. So again, it's free. Check it out. And let us know what you think.
Yes, yes. So if you've been listening to this and thinking this sounds like me, like we said, we have created the framework, Unstuck framework for you, and it's completely free. It's a
Mhm.
gift from us to you, and it is a simple way to pause, to reset, to get the clarity on where you are and where you want to go. So in the notes in our podcast, we will provide you with the link on how to get this free gift for you.
Mhm.
And if this episode's resonated with you, share it with another business owner who might need to hear it. And I really want to thank you for being here and being part of our family of Unstuck Your Business.
Oh, I couldn't have said that better myself, Inez. This really is, like, as you stated, a gift from us to you, a way to gather all the knowledge that we've collected through these over 100 conversations that we've had. And again, I encourage everyone to grab that framework. I think it'll be helpful to you. You can get it at unstuckyourbusinesspodcast.com/framework. We will include that link in our show notes. And again, we want to hear from you. Any success stories or comments that you may have.
Well, thank you, and until next time.
Until next time. If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you. Let us know what you think about today's topic by leaving us a comment and a review of our podcast.
And if you found some value on the information shared in this podcast, please subscribe and share. And you can find us on our Facebook page, Unstuck Your Business, and join the conversation and engage with other entrepreneurs as together we help each other unstuck our business. Until next time.